I'm Abigail McMahon. I'm the director of the intermediary work for the OST programs for the city of Philadelphia, and I work at PHMC Public Health Management Corporation. I'm going to just briefly introduce the rest of our panelists and then turn it over to the rest of the team to speak. We have on this as well, we have Rob Larimore, who is the Senior Operations Manager at PHMC for the OST intermediary work. We have Timothy Hitchens, who is the OST Director of Operations within the City of Philadelphia Office of Children and Families. And we have Beth Tomlinson joining us as well, who is the Summer Learning Manager for OST within the Office of Children and Families. And Tim, I will turn it over to you now, and thank you all. Good morning.
All right, thanks a lot, Abigail. Good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Tim Hitchens, and I'm the Operations Director for the OCF Out of School Time. And welcome to this morning's Bidders Conference for the RFP for our Summer Only Arts and Culture Out of School Time programming program. Thank you, Rob. We are on webinar mode, so you may have some functions that you're used to having that not available to you today. This is to protect the flow of the presentation. So you're able to ask questions in the Q&A, but you will not be able to unmute yourself or communicate to the crowd. I just want to respect the courtesy extended by some. There's a couple good mornings in the chat that we've received as panelists. So thank you for those, and good morning to everybody. If we're going to try to answer your questions if we can, but we also encourage you to include them in the Q&A option and to hold them also for the question period that we will have coming up shortly, so that we can answer widely and publicly for everybody. And we will share this presentation as well as part of our procurement. Next slide, please. Looking at the agenda, we have a lot of information to cover today. Throughout the presentation, you'll see RFP page numbers referenced at the bottom of most of the slides, detailing the information on each agenda item, as well as other important information is contained in the RFP document. So I encourage you to look closely there and ask your questions if you still have them. But we'll go through the roles, network, and tenets of our program. The RFP overview will include key dates, applicant eligibility, site information and staffing requirements, quality supports and compliance supports, OST summer only program funding and startup awards, submitting a question about the RFP, the application process, and online submission, platform review, and demo. For our out of school time, this is a time for the for children basically out of school time, after school, summer programs. A lot of our young folks in Philadelphia spend a lot of time in school, but there's a lot of time they spend out of school as well. So these are some of the programs that we look to offer. And this is important because it supports working parents and caregivers. It also benefits a child's academic, social, and personal development, helps children to stay safe and avoid high-risk behaviors. You see me looking over to the side. I've got dual monitors here. So I apologize, I'm not making eye contact the entire time. It's important to understand the roles that we each play. So the city of Philadelphia runs the out of school time or oversees the out of school time program as part of our Office of Children and Families in the Department of Human Services. And the Public Health Management Corporation, or PHMC, I see Abigail and Rob are our intermediaries. So they do a lot of work to actually oversee the programs. We work very collaboratively together through the solicitation process, but PHMC manages the data collection reporting related to provider service delivery and oversees the provider contract development, execution, invoicing, payment, and all the nitty-gritty day-to-day sort of things. Now, the provider organization is who we're seeking for the summer RFP, and if awarded, provider organizations will deliver the summer OST program as outlined in RFP and in standard operating procedures issued with the program contracts. Next slide. So OCF's OST serves over 7,500 children in K through 8, as well as their families, 45 agencies serving 138 sites. Of the 7,500 slots, 75% are in 96 school district buildings. Other sites include charter, community-based, and private or parochial schools. And all of our programs integrate social emotional learning and run year-round programming, including summer programming. During the school year, most programs run until 6 p.m., and summer programming is 5 days a week or 6 weeks, running from 8:30 in the morning to 5 p.m. Next slide, please. You can read through these on page 6 of the RFP, but in sum, the OST system supports the goals and guardrails of the School District of Philadelphia. Again, these are just as an example, you see at the bottom it says RFP, page 6. So when you see that, you can go to the RFP to find out more information or more details about what we're presenting this morning. So thank you, and I believe I'm passing along to Beth. Abigail, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, that's okay. Good morning, everyone. As I mentioned, I'm Abigail McMahon. I'm the director of the OST intermediary, and I'll be going through information here about the RFP to just keep you informed. And as Tim mentioned, please note on the bottom of the slides that when we do reference information in the RFP, we are giving you those page references so that you can follow along and seek more detail. As you know, this is being recorded, and this presentation and the recording will be made available to all of the participants and others on our website and via the links available in the application portal. So this request for proposals was released on February 5th. It's released on behalf of the City of Philadelphia Office of Children and Families and the Department of Human Services in the City of Philadelphia. And all information related to this RFP can be found at philaocfost.org. Please also note that there are links on our website that take you to the application portal where additional information and resources are available. This is an open and competitive solicitation for city-funded OST summer programming throughout Philadelphia. It is important to note, though, that this funding is only available to new providers that are not currently funded through the City of Philadelphia out-of-school time OST network. And to clarify, that means that if you currently have a contract with PHMC for OST programming this school year, this funding is not available. You are not eligible for this funding opportunity. The summer-only OST RFP is for the procurement of summer camp opportunities for youth in grades K through 8. These are in addition to our existing OST summer programs. We are looking for programming that will be delivered by nonprofit arts and cultural institutions and experiential learning organizations. And the definitions for using ours are described here. They're fairly detailed and significant. I suggest that you read through them carefully in the RFP document on page 6. And again, there's information also on page 16 to ensure that your organization mission aligns with one of those two buckets, those bullet points. The city is interested in diversifying the types of enrichment opportunities that our youth will be exposed to, as well as the places and spaces where summer enrichment and programming occurs. So the goal of this RFP is to expand the current reach of our OST network. This summer-only RFP provides 2 programmatic strategies that providers may apply to. Providers, again, may apply to one or both of these strategies. There is no limit on the number of applications that an organization can submit. Both camp strategies are intended to serve youth in grades K through 8th grade. Programs may decide that they want to serve this entire grade range, or they may decide to serve a subset. For example, it is acceptable to apply for programming to serve K to 4th, for example. Schedule should be built around the delivering the most high quality experience possible for the summer and retaining the same youth for the entirety of the summer program strategy that you apply for. The 2 strategies are our traditional summer camp, 6 consecutive weeks of programming during July and August. Programming must occur Monday through Friday for 5 days a week for a minimum 7.5 hours a day. And the other alternative strategy is a summer mini camp that is intended to give providers flexibility to design some intensive experiences with youth. The mini camp programs cannot start any earlier than July 29th. We're really looking for programs that fill the space in August. So mini camps would then end no later than August 23rd. That's to ensure that we are not overlapping with any school district start dates, and that we are also ensured that providers can close out and finish their programs within the summer period. The minimum number of days for the mini camp is 10, and the minimum number of hours in total is 75. And information on both of these strategies is available on pages 14 and 16 of the RFP. Key dates. The RFP was released Monday, February 5th. We're currently having the bidders conference on Friday, February 9th. The deadline for applicant questions, these are questions related that will help you inform your application, is Monday, February 12th. And PHMC will post FAQ on Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. These FAQ will be inclusive of any questions that are submitted in our Q&A section of this bidders conference. So many of you may notice there is a icon at the bottom of your screen, or sometimes at the top of the screen, where you can submit questions, and we encourage you to do so. We will take a look at those questions during this RFP discussion, and where possible, we will answer them. Anything else will be, we will take it back, review, and post answers to those RFP questions on Wednesday, February 14th. If something occurs to you after the bidders conference ends and you're reviewing the RFP, you can submit questions. There is a Cognito link within the RFP document, and we will, I believe that also appears later in this presentation as well. Proposals are due no later than 5 p.m. on February 23rd. The submission portal will close at 5 o'clock, and there are no late submissions allowed. In addition, your submission must be complete and submitted by 5 p.m. If you are in the middle of a submission at 5 o'clock, you will your submission will not be accepted. And we are working to notify providers in early April, as soon as possible, by close to April 1st. To be considered for funding under this competitive solicitation, there are some eligibility requirements. An organization must be a Philadelphia-based nonprofit organization and cannot be a government agency. The applicant cannot currently be a City of Philadelphia funded OST program through the 2023-2024 school year. So again, if you have a current contract with PHMC for OST programming in this school year, you are not eligible for this RFP. The organization must be either an arts and culture nonprofit organization or an experiential learning nonprofit organization as defined on page 10 of the RFP. And the organization must have at least 3 or more years of experience in running youth development programs. And finally, the organization must have a confirmed physical location for summer programming as defined on page 11 of the RFP. Additional information about applicant eligibility. Eligible applicants should be seeking to expand existing programs for K to 8th grade youth as follows. And as noted on the previous page, we are looking for organizations that have at least 3 years of experience in youth programming. Organizations can expand existing summer programs to serve youth from the target population of this RFP, ages grades K to 8th, and there are also targeting youth that may be involved or could become involved in the child welfare system. And this may include expanding an existing program to serve a new age group in the K to 8th grade range, or to continue program services to the current age group. You could be expanding school year programming into the summer to serve the target population of the RFP. You could be expanding existing programs into a new area of the organization's mission. For example, building on a successful program in photography to include digital media and video. For all of the above, the expansion of program can include increasing program capacity to provide no-cost program spaces to youth from the target population in an existing fee-based program. In addition, organizations awarded funding through this RFP will be required to offer OST programs that are to the participants at no cost to families or youth, to the contracted number of participants for the program, for the number of hours and the sites identified for funding. So if awarded, we will identify the site that was awarded funding, the number of slots that will be awarded to be served, and that is the expectation that you complete that, undertake that activity. And providers will also be, awarded providers will also be required to offer free breakfast and lunch to students. Organizations can identify their own food program or apply to this resource, the National Development Services After School Food Program. And if you are selected and you have not had prior experience, oops, I'm sorry, let me go back. With food programs, you can certainly, PHMC can certainly provide support. Okay, yes, sorry, Beth, I'm going to take us back to
Yeah,
slide so that Beth can, Beth, our summer learning manager, would like to share some information.
Thanks, Abigail. Yeah, I just really wanted to say from the city's perspective, we're excited to have you interested in this and joining the Bidders Conference. And just say from the city's perspective, we're really excited and interested to be sparking the interests and passions of our Philadelphia kids in grades K to 8. Really looking in those diverse spaces and places to expose our kids to more aspects of the city and more strengths that our city can offer that kids otherwise might not be exposed to, and really ignite their passion and interests, which we know the arts and cultural providers and those experiential learning providers can really do so well and so magically. So just really wanted to say from the city's perspective, we're really excited about this RFP and looking forward to collaborating with partners in future. Give it back to you, Abigail.
Thanks, Beth. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about site identification and requirements. As noted, providers must have a confirmed location for the OST program. I'm actually going to make a note at the bottom of the slide. The City of Philadelphia currently contracts for the provision of summer programs in School District of Philadelphia schools, recreation centers, libraries, and other city facilities. And therefore, applicants that are proposing sites in any of these locations will not be considered under this RFP. We are looking again to expand the number of and places where we offer and support OST programming in the city. Spaces must be adequate for the programming that's being requested. They have to have sufficient space to accommodate the number of children being served, as well as, of course, space for the staff and the work that's being done. The space should be conducive to physical activity. These are summer programs, and so we anticipate that there will be opportunities for youth to move around. The space must have storage for program materials and appropriate space for staff to undertake administrative activities. There must be appropriate facilities for meals to be served. Again, dependent upon the meal program used, you may need a refrigerator. So please visit the Nutritional Development Services for After School Programs website and review those requirements if you are going to be participating in that food program, or if you have identified an alternative food program, please also check those requirements. The site must have access to the internet, and all locations for which an application is submitted must meet health and safety guidelines, inclusive of health and safety regulations from the PA Department of Human Service if you are operating in a licensed facility, licensed childcare facility. Program staffing and compensation. I just want to, sorry, I have to, my notes are blocked by the various things on my screen. I want to just touch on some information in the tenets of the OST network that was shared earlier in this presentation. One of those key items is that the City of Philadelphia is seeking a well-prepared and appropriately compensated workforce. There's also a strong focus on quality programming. And the staffing structure that's outlined in this RFP is intended to ensure that we are meeting those requirements, that staff are appropriately compensated, that we are seeking staff that are well qualified for the work, and that in particular, the requirement for a site director to be full-time allows the organization to undertake the continuous quality improvement work that we hope all of our OST partners engage in. So the RFP staffing outlines that there should be a site director. That site director should be on site during all hours of program operation, and it would be designated as the main point of contact for our program activities. The staff member does not count toward maintaining the required staff-child ratios. And the staff-child ratios, which are shared in this document, but also can be found on RFP pages 9 and 27. There should be one staff member for every 12 youth in grades K through 5, and one staff member for every 15 youth in grades 6 through 8. And the site director would not be counted towards calculating how many staff you need to meet that ratio. Teachers, group leaders, counselors, they do count towards that staff-child ratio, and you would need to have a sufficient number of these to deliver the program as developed by the organization in compliance with those expectations. Additional staff requirements are that all staff meet the clearance requirements. These are the Child Protective Services Law requirements and are described on page 18 of the RFP. There are also links in the appendices and resource sections. Wage requirements. For all staff that are deliver programming to youth through this funding opportunity, there must be a minimum the salary must equate to a minimum of $18 per hour. So just to be mindful, if you are awarded funding, when you get to the budgeting portion of this activity, after funding is awarded, we are looking for you to ensure that you can demonstrate that any hourly staff or salaried staff earn at least $18 an hour during the time that this program is being funded. Sorry, let me just go back one. All right. So quality supports. I just want to share that the city and PHMC are committed to supporting quality within our OST programs, and as such, we make available a lot of supports to providers so that they can either engage in this process if it's something new to them, or continue their own quality improvement activities with additional support from our OST program and quality staff. So all funded providers will be assigned an OST performance coordinator who will serve as a main point of contact for improvement activities. And with support from this OST performance coordinator, the expectation is funded sites will be able to build time for continuous quality improvement activities into their staffing schedules, document youth reflection and youth feedback through the Survey of Academic and Youth Outcomes called the SAO. And there are two different sort of SAO surveys that are implemented. One is for students 4th grade and up, and the other one, which is actually completed by staff, is for grades K through 3. And there is additional information and I believe some links in the RFP on that activity. These are tools from the National Institute of Out of School Time. Additional quality supports that will be available is providers will receive an assessment of program practice tool, the APTO observation. This is also a tool from the National Institute of Out of School Time. And it is administered by the performance coordinators. It is an observation tool. They come to your site and make observations, and then they provide you back with that data to show you the quality of your program and potential areas for improvement and areas of strength. You will receive data coaching to achieve quality programming and to access. In addition to that, you also have access to professional opportunities for staff. Providers will be completing a feedback survey at the end of the summer program, and providers will participate in a summer debrief meeting with all funded summer OST sites to review data, identify best practices, inform future summer programming, identify common challenge areas, and co-design solutions for future summer programming. So that will be an exciting opportunity for everyone to participate in. And it is anticipated that funded or the organizations that are funded through this RFP will ensure that at least one representative from their organization participates in this end of summer debrief. And then the final opportunity to look at quality and programming, program quality is a summer data summit, which will be delivered in the fall of 2024. And this will be something that we anticipate all of our entire OST system will participate in. So these summer only organizations, as well as our regular summer programming and some and programs that are occurring in the School District of Philadelphia for the summer as well. So a lot of exciting data could be shared at that meeting. One other thing I want to note is some of these offerings are available to organizations in the city of Philadelphia, regardless of their status as being funded or not. In particular, our professional development opportunities are open to all of our OST and or youth enrichment programs throughout the city of Philadelphia. Those links are also available on the same website that this funding opportunity is posted to. And if you look under the resource page on that website, you can find a link to an Eventbrite listing of professional development opportunities, and those are open now. You could sign staff up for those at any point in time. So just want to make sure that everyone knows those are available. In addition to quality supports, there are compliance supports for anyone that is awarded, any organization that is awarded funding through this RFP. Each agency is assigned a PHMC contract specialist that monitors standards and provides technical support when issues arrive. Awarded agencies are required to undertake required program activities, collect specific information on participants, and maintain other documentation for staff and the site. Again, please review the RFP sections on compliance thoroughly if you are interested in applying to this RFP. PHMC provides guidance and training to support providers to carry out these requirements. We do a lot of technical assistance. Our approach is to consider every compliance issue as an opportunity for us to provide technical assistance and, again, quality improvement support in that area to your program. Data collection and reporting. The City of Philadelphia utilizes CitySpan. This is a citywide out-of-school time system that supports the data collection and invoicing activities for all of the City of Philadelphia's funded OST programs. Awarded providers will identify staff that will be trained in CitySpan, have access to CitySpan for data entry, and have access to CitySpan for administration and invoicing activities. In addition, PHMC and OCF also use other web-based tools to support the overall operation of the network, including for the collection of program quality, such as the SEO surveys. So applicants should consider technology capability and access at their identified sites to ensure that they can have regular and reliable access for both administrative and other activities. Another item I'd like to share about this is that CitySpan, as with our professional development, CitySpan is a tool that is available to out-of-school time providers in the city, regardless of funded status. So if you are an organization that is looking for a data system that could track participation in your programs, you can contact us at ost@phmc.org if you would like to potentially utilize CitySpan or get more information about it, and we will connect you with the right resources. And the other note I wanted to say is you'll see throughout this presentation, as well as with our RFP, you'll see reference to Cognito forms and Cognito links as one of the other online systems that we use most frequently. It is, for example, how we are collecting questions for this RFP that are coming in to provide from providers that are not necessarily participating in this bidders conference activity. OST program funding. If awarded funding, it's important to note that this is a fee-for-service contract. It is the payment is based on a service that is provided, and it is based in this instance on the number of children that meet a certain attendance threshold while the program is operating. For traditional summer camps, these programs that operate 6 weeks through July and August, the fee is $608 for each child that attends 2 days in any given month, for a maximum of up to $1,216 per child for the summer. So in order to draw down the full amount of that contract, a provider would have to ensure that the child attends both 2 days in July and 2 days in August. Each month, they can invoice for up to $608 per child. That meets that threshold, up to 110% of your awarded slot. In the mini camp, which primarily is operating in August, the fee metric is 2 days of attendance within the mini camp timeframe. So within the 2-week timeframe that the program is operating, within the 75 hours or 10 days if you are perhaps not doing things exactly within a 2-week timeframe. And the total amount there is $470 per child based on 2 days of attendance within your camp timeframe. Invoicing and payment is made after delivery of services. I think that's another thing that is important to note. You invoice after the service is delivered, and payment is made within 21 days after approved invoice is received. Participating youth must reside in Philadelphia to be counted towards this invoicing activity. PHMC and the City of Philadelphia are making startup funding available to agencies that are awarded funding through this RFP. Providers will receive additional guidance on how this opportunity will what will be eligible, how they will proceed, all the steps that go into invoicing. There is some basic information that we do have ready to share. This is a cost reimbursement activity. It is the providers can request up to $395 per awarded slot. If the funding can be used to cover costs incurred for the startup of staffing, outreach recruitment and pre-enrollment activities, and training, inclusive of CitySpan training, training on the SEO tool, and other programmatic quality training. Evidence of completing these above activities will be required in order to draw down the invoice. And again, it is cost-based reimbursement, so it is also paid after the activity is undertaken. The startup awards are paid, and this will be contracted in our FY24 fiscal year. So all activities must be completed by June 30th. Submitting questions about this RFP. First of all, we encourage you to submit questions in the Q&A. I do see that there are some questions in the chat. I would encourage you to also submit those questions through the Q&A option rather than through the chat, because we do want to really track all of these questions and ensure that we respond to them in the FAQ. And then we will post the FAQ to the website so that everyone, both individuals who attended the bidder conference as well as potential applicants who are unable to attend, have access to the information that was the response to those questions. Interested applicants may submit questions via our Cognito form as well. This link is available on our website as well as within the RFP. And then all questions, however, must be submitted by 5 p.m. Monday, February 12th. That's the Monday, this coming Monday, in order for us to have some time to dig through those and ensure that we provide adequate responses. And we are requesting that in your submitting your questions, you identify the applicant organization and the person who is making the inquiry. And as noted, all responses will be posted to the funding opportunity FAQ Wednesday, February 14th. I think I'm going to take a moment to, before we move on to the next slide, to see if there are any questions in the Q&A that we can respond to, which will take me a minute to open up. And I'm just perusing, and I believe that most of these we will be responding to these in writing in the FAQ to ensure that we give a full and comprehensive answer. If there is things that I have touched on in this RFP that we can just reiterate, I'm happy to do so if there was something that was unclear. There are some questions around whether or not kindergartners are, and this would be children who will, in the summer would be rising kindergartners are eligible. We're going to look at this, but this is not meant to be a pre-K program for 3- and 4-year-olds. I will say that. There are some questions about the location. Again, responses that we will provide in writing with the FAQ. There are questions about other opportunities for-profit organizations, and we can respond to that in the FAQ as well. Questions about serving youth outside of the targeted age group. As long as city funds are only using programs to serve the kids in K-8, we will respond to that in the written FAQ. There is a question: if both free breakfast and lunch required every day for all programs, is it possible to schedule a program day that begins later so that only lunch would be served? The model that is described for the program is a full day. I believe the hours were 8 to 5:30. And so it would not be in alignment with this RFP to have a schedule that differs from the one that is requested in the RFP document. If the program has participants that are both K-8 and 8 through 12, would the program be eligible for support in whole or part? I believe this speaks to the question above about whether or not if you're serving youth that meet the age requirements, but you are also serving older youth, would you be able to move forward with an application if the older youth were not covered by this funding? We will respond to that in the written RFP. There's a question about are the nutrition programs bagged sandwiches and delivered daily? That again is something that you should explore with the in the food program website to determine if what type of food is available, how it is provided, and how it is delivered. There are various options and vendors that meet the requirements for the National Food Program, so you might be able to find one that meets your needs. There's a question that if a mini camp program begins earlier in July than the 29th, would the part that occurs 7/29 to 8/23 be eligible for funding? The intent here is for that mini camp to be a comprehensive activity. So it would be, we would be looking for a proposal that responds to this RFP and describes a mini camp that meets the requirements of this RFP. There's a question: does the mini camp require breakfast and lunch as well? All programming is expected to provide breakfast and lunch. Can the applicant work with a nonprofit fiscal sponsor? Yes, organizations can work with fiscal sponsors. That is an acceptable approach, but it is required that the fiscal sponsor be fully informed and engaged with the activity, and that the fiscal sponsor submit the information on financial information needs to be coming from the fiscal sponsor in the application portal. Is this only for nonprofit organizations? Yes, that question from Ebony. This is only for nonprofit organizations. There's a question if there's a minimum number of youth that must be served. There is no minimum outlined in the RFP, but we do ask that you consider both the funding and the staff-child ratios in developing your application. This is the first year of this RFP has been put out to arts and cultural providers. This is the first year in my period of time with the OST network that it has been made available. So I can't speak to the first time ever, but certainly the first time in the last 5 years. How are children placed with specific camps? The city does not, the recruitment and outreach is done by the organization. and we will respond further in detail in the written FAQ. Does the camp have to cover all arts and cultures, or you can have sports and other things in the summer camp? Please read through the description in the RFP, but we will also respond to that in writing in the FAQ. And in terms of the process and criteria for the timeframe of the RFP, we will share a response to that in the written FAQ. In terms of serving 6th to 8th graders, we will have to respond to that in the written FAQ. Those are middle school students who may potentially be eligible for summer work ready or career connected learning. And we would have to respond to that in the written FAQ. Yes, there was a request to remind of the child staff ratios. Let me go back to that slide. Okay, so it is in the RFP on pages 9 and 27. And I will provide the information again. For youth in grades K through 5, it is 1 staff member to 12 youth. In youth in grades 6 through 8, it is 1 staff member to 15 youth. Okay, we're gonna okay, I think I have one more slide and then I turn it over to you, Rob. Is that correct? Okay. Application process. So applicants may submit 1 application for each physical location for which they are applying. For each location, providers will be able to identify 1 strategy and a targeted grade range for that site. And if the organization wishes to offer both a traditional summer camp and a summer mini camp at the same physical location, the organization will need to submit a second application for that location. Conversely, if you have multiple locations that you would like to operate in, you will submit multiple applications. Applicants can submit applications for multiple sites, and there's no limit to the number of applications allowed. Each application submitted by an agency will be reviewed and scored individually. Organizations may not be awarded for all sites for which applications were submitted. An applicant organization should not consider their requests for multiple sites to be linked. I encourage anybody who is considering to serve multiple sites or to apply for multiple strategies that they be very mindful of this. Each application is considered individually. So if you are conceiving of some joint or shared programming across sites or across strategies, you should know that we may opt to fund only 1 of the applications, if any, that you submit. Applicants will be asked to identify the number of slots and youth that they are requesting to serve at the site. Again, providers should be mindful of their physical space constraints, the staff-child ratio requirements, and the available funding in determining their slot request. And the city and PHMC reserve the right to identify the awarded slot amount. So you may apply and request funding for a specific number of slots, and that may not be what you receive the award for. Okay, we're going to take some time to talk about the actual mechanics of submitting an application, and I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Rob Larimore.
Morning, everyone. Thank you again for being here. We are going to spend a few moments together talking about a few tips and tricks to support you with your navigation of submitting your applications. And then I will switch over to a live look at the system just to once again demonstrate those items for you, items that previous applicants to other RFPs have found helpful. So we'll make sure you get a good look at that. And this will be, of course, included as a part of the bidders conference, which is being recorded and will be posted at the website so that you can go back and take a look at it if you're having any difficulty as you're completing and submitting your application. All submissions must be made via the web-based application found at the link provided. We will copy and paste that into the chat at some point in the next few minutes for you. We can also provide you a direct link into the application. This link is included throughout the RFP. Abigail, you can go to the next slide. These are the 4 items we're going to look at together: how to register an account, how to add a collaborator, how to finalize and submit, and how to copy an application if your organization is intending on submitting more than one application. This is a really neat feature and is a big time saver for organizations. In order to register an account, you will go to the website that we'll paste into the link that's also included throughout the RFP, and click on My Account or Start Application. You'll see both of those items circled in yellow there. Either one of those will cause you to need to enter your information and get registered into the system. A few basic pieces of information are requested, and that is a screenshot of what that will look like for you once you go in to register. Collaborators. I should note here that this is for internal collaborators only, collaborators within your organization. It's possible for more than one individual from your organization to contribute to a single application. This might be helpful if you have one person who is kind of including the information about your organization's finances, and another person who's completing program question information. After beginning an application, applicants may add collaborators at any time by clicking the Manage Collaborators button, which appears on each page. That is circled there in the lower right-hand corner for you to see. Go to the next slide. Once there, you'll select Add Collaborator and the intended collaborator's name and email address. It's important to note that each application may have only one primary collaborator. This is the only individual who will be able to finalize and submit the application. It's also, if you have both collaborators who are working at the same time and you both try to save at the same time, whoever is the primary collaborator, their information will be saved. Most likely, you'll be kind of coordinating that activity a little bit more intentionally, and that shouldn't be a problem for you. But that the primary collaborator is the one who has the access to press finalize and submit when the applications are going into the system. Finalized submissions may not be edited. So once you press agree and finalize and submit, that application has been. If you notice that you have made a mistake after you have submitted your application, you can email us at Abigail, can you put that email address into the chat for us? I don't want to tell you the wrong one, but it's one that we monitor, especially for the RFP. Again, only collaborators designated as primary may submit the final application. You can go to the next slide whenever you get just a minute, Abigail. I know you're doing multiple things for us right now. Thanks. That is really tiny for me, so I'm going to pull it up on my slide deck just so I can see what that image is of. Oh, yeah, and this is just the notification like, hey, heads up, this is about to be submitted. Are you okay with it? And then you press OK to finalize that submission. Next, we're going to talk about how to copy an application. It's possible to use the copy application feature to simplify the process of submitting applications for multiple sites. This feature will copy all of your information included on the previous submission. Of course, some of this information will need to be edited as several portions of the application are site and strategy specific. However, this is a big time saver as you're entering in information, the basic information about your organization, as you're uploading the required documents. All of those will most likely remain consistent between applications. And so being able to take advantage of this feature is pretty huge. In the lower right-hand corner there, again, you see the yellow oval, and that is where the copy application link is for you. Once you click on that link, applicants must change the application title for the new application. The title that shows up is the one that was previously submitted. And so here is where you will change your application title to something that makes sense for your organization. However, you're kind of tracking your multiple applications so that you can ensure that you are including the relevant information and relevant responses to each individual application. You're not required to do this. You could simply create a new application and then enter all the information again if your organization intends to proceed this way. We observed that this process went pretty smoothly for providers in previous opportunities who wanted to submit multiple applications. So we continue to recommend it. So at this point, I think I will go ahead and do the live look-in. Abigail, can you, I think I can probably share my screen. Okay, thank you. Great. All right, I think I'm sharing now, right? All right, so again, whenever you are coming in to the application for the first time, you can click on a couple of different items to get registered. You can either click on My Account or Start Application. I'm going to click on Start Application. And this is the information that it's asking me to include. Since I already have a user login, I'm just going to go ahead and log in. When you register, it'll automatically send you an email containing helpful information, including your username and maybe your password, but it will also include links to get back into the submission. So make sure you hold on to that email notification that you get following your registration. Again, enter the prompts as directed, and organizations may have multiple user accounts. There's no need to necessarily create one account for your organization and share that among multiple users because of that manage collaborator feature. So once you're into the application, I want to go into this one. Once you're into an application, you do have that opportunity again to manage your collaborators. You can do that by clicking. This is kind of the, each one of these links will take you to a different questions page that you can review and begin editing and entering your responses. No matter which one you're on, you're always able to add a collaborator. After clicking on Manage Collaborators, you'll click on Add. Once I do that, Abigail will get an email requesting or notifying her that she's been made a collaborator on this particular application. If I wanted to make her the primary collaborator, I could do so by simply clicking the link here that says Make Primary. Get a warning that says Primary collaborator can add or remove others from this application, including you. Do you wish to proceed? I'm actually going to click cancel because I want to be able to be the one to finalize and submit the application. And if Abigail's the primary, then I won't be able to do that. So that takes us through that portion. I'm going to go back into my application that I've been working on. All of my information has been entered. Abigail has supported me to do this, and I'm ready to click finalize and submit. You're required to agree to the statement. I have reviewed the information contained in this application and verify to its accuracy. I understand that I'm not able to edit this application following its submission. Clicking save and finalize. Again, the warning, press OK to submit your application. You will not be allowed to make changes after submitting. And this is the confirmation. We have it set up so that you will also receive an email notification that your application has been successfully completed. And you can take a look back to see your submissions. I'm going to click on my completed submissions, and you can see that I have submitted 2 applications for this opportunity. Now, if I would like to initiate a 3rd application, I could do so by copying an application. We're going to take the one that I just submitted, and here I will click copy application. I'm required to change the application title, and so this one will be 2. And I simply click make a copy. And all of my previously submitted information and added over for each one of these. I can go to my incomplete applications and see this indeed is test 2. From there, you continue on. Stop sharing my screen now because I believe that is it for the walkthrough. Abigail, you're muted.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Okay, let me share my screen so we can get back to the presentation. Multiple screens that need to be accessed here. So thanks, Rob, for going through that. Again, if you have some issues that are technical in nature around problems with the portal, you can email us at phil@ocf.ost.org. I do want to just encourage that if you have a question that is more about the content of the RFP or allowability or eligibility or content of your application, that those be submitted through the Cognito link so that we can ensure that, you know, if you have a question, it's possible that others have that same question and we can share the FAQ. For the, please continue to access our website, phil@ocf.ost.org. Again, you will find the full request for proposal there. It can be downloaded as a PDF. Application forms and some templates are available. The frequently asked question and link to the frequently asked questions will be posted there once we have completed them. And there will also be links for the recording to the bidders conference, as well as the presentation slide deck. And then finally, there will be, there's within that, we will try to make separate links so that you can view the bidders conference and then look separately at what Rob just did here, his walkthrough and demo of the web-based application, in case you need to reference one or other of those items. And then also we have links to city, state, and federal resources available on our website as well. And those can help inform your application before you submit it. Next steps. This is somewhat of what I've already shared, but a recording of the bidders conference will be posted on Friday, February 9th. Will be posted later today. That's today. And then all questions must be submitted by the 12th, and they will be posted. I'm pretty sure we have, looks like we have 2 different dates. I believe questions must be submitted by the 12th, and then we have to the 14th to post those FAQs to our site. And then all proposals must be submitted as mentioned no later than Friday, February 23rd at 5 p.m. No late submissions will be considered, and award notifications will be made in early April. I don't think we have any additional questions in the Q&A. There's some questions about staff that can be hired. We will respond to that in the FAQ. Can you submit an application that requests to serve more than one type of mini camp? You can submit multiple applications. So as shared already, so if you have more than one type of mini camp or more than one location of a mini camp that you would like to submit an application, you can. Just please be mindful that each application is reviewed individually. So it is possible to have one funded and not the other, or neither as well. And then there's a question of, as it relates to this is a new initiative of the new administration, will respond to that in the written FAQ. Okay. And that is the conclusion of our bidders conference. Thank you all for your engagement in this activity, and we look forward to receiving additional questions via Cognito, and we'll continue to we will have those FAQ available to you in the next few days, few work days, so that you can work on your proposals and can meet the 23rd deadline. Thank you all. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, everybody.